Hey y'all, Undercover Prepper here. Say guys, I don't think that too many people are taking these warnings seriously, but we really do need to pay attention to what's going on. And I just want to point out some key important facts that are happening in the world, guys. And we have a lot of countries that are doing a lot of war games, a lot of warmongering, and the way I see it, we already are at war. And that's my opinion, that's my observation. And the way that this war is currently working, it's a lot of little mini strikes here and there, back and forth, little blows, primarily through cyber warfare, but there's also other little jabs happening. And it's actually been going on for a while now. I think basically since last year. You had the U.S. Amphibious warship that started on fire somehow last year, sitting in bay. It was just sitting there docked, and the thing started on fire miraculously. I mean, how this thing's made of metal. It just doesn't really make sense when it wasn't out in battle or anything like that. It was docked. And ironically, a few months before that, a Chinese version of basically the same ship, it was similar to ours. It was another amphibious warship that was very similar to ours, and theirs miraculously had started on fire as well and burned for multiple days, just like ours did. Seems like a little jab to them, jab to us. And then you got, if you pay attention to Dutch Sense channel, last year he had showed a lot of what very much appeared to be lasers showing up. Heat weapons, basically, which were lighting up the West Coast and other various areas that so happen to have lots of wildfires going on. And then you have all the random ships that have been sunk, like the Iranian ships. You had some Iranian ships started on fire. You've had that one just recently that sank. That was an Iranian ship. You also had the Israeli ship that got struck by what it was claimed to be by Iran. And they had to go in and get repaired because they were damaged quite significantly. And then you had, basically, if you really do your research, you'll see that there's a lot of different things going on with several countries. You've got Russia as well. They're pushing a lot of little war games, doing things we haven't seen since the Cold War era. I mean, they've always kind of done their little thing here and there, but they're really pushing hard now, guys. They're getting bold. Same with China. And they're really pushing their limits. China is they're angering all of their neighbors virtually. except for probably their best buddies over there in North Korea. But they're trying to push their boundaries with Japan, the Philippines, Vietnam. They've been bucking heads with everybody. India too. Some pretty significant clashes between India and China in recent months, where there was even casualties. If you've done your research there, you'd see that there was a lot going on there as well. And you've got China bucking their head with us. You've got Russia bucking their heads with us. And it's not just there. You also have the Russia-Ukraine situation, Israel, Iran, and even as we speak, it seems that there's some little battling going on, some more cyber warfare, this time hitting Iran, and I've heard reports about drone strikes going in and targeting critical infrastructure for Iran, dealing with their power systems and whatnot, and targeting basically nuclear type stuff, which I would imagine has to do with trying to send a clear message that they're not going to be nuking Israel or messing with Israel or the United States. It's really hard to say what is going on behind the scenes because they don't tell us everything. But one thing there's definitely stuff going on, because you even have tons of Iranian news outlets that they've been shut down by the United States government. Their websites have been shut down, basically so that they can't even communicate with the rest of the world, feeding the propaganda to all the people, telling them what's going on. They're basically being shut down by the United States and Israel, and it definitely seems that the new leadership in Israel is a little more, I would say, probably aggressive than Netanyahu. And guys, it's we're not talking about just these little deals here, though. There's a lot more going on than what we're being told, and you have to really dig just to find out the information that we do find out, because it's not being blasted all over the mainstream. They're not really talking about all this kind of little stuff. They just drop little things here and there, but they're not telling us half of what's actually going on. And I'm sure there's a lot that myself and anybody else that pays attention, there's a lot that we're not even finding out, which is pretty typical. But my point is, there's a lot of things going on that's just going to lead to something bigger, because you can only go so long with all these tensions. And there's food tensions, there's a lot of power grabs going on as well, because the whole world knows the toll that the whole virus situation put on the world. And so you got certain nations that they're really vamping things up and getting ready to take new leadership roles in the world, trying to secure things that they want and take advantage of, like, for instance, the United States, because of obviously our economic strains and different various things that have happened as a result of the virus situation. And there's a lot even to deal with that we're not being told. And I can tell you that, in my opinion, it would seem that there is a big scheme behind that whole situation. That, in my eyes, was likely staged for certain events to take place. But, guys, something to really bring to the attention, to the forefront here. So, when things do snap, when it becomes a point where there's no longer just little tit for tat sort of things, when a full-blown war breaks out, and I believe that will happen very soon, involving many nations, and sides are going to be taken. And the thing is, guys, when that happens, what do you think is going to happen to the already heavily fractured supply chain that's been just taking hit after hit? When full-blown war breaks out, if you've done some research about the past, even with like World War II, for instance, there was a lot of different things being rationed, basically everything. And it became harder to get a lot of basic things. Well, what do you think is going to happen in this situation where the supply chain is already drained? It's already strained. It's already having a lot of problems. And world powers know this and understand that. But when a full-scale war breaks out, it's going to be worse than before, than times in the past, because of the fact that our systems are already breaking down. Our supply chain is already in grave danger, guys. And we really need to take this seriously. Push the limits. Stock up on things you need right now while you can. Because when it's too late, when everybody is rushing the stores, guys, it ain't gonna be pretty. Panic will spread quickly, as it always does. I mean, all we have to do is look at just recent histories with toilet paper rushes and everything else, and how bare the shelves became just with a little bit of panic. Well, imagine what will happen when something even bigger comes, and believe me, it will. The panic it will surpass what we've even seen. I believe that, guys. And I believe that we shouldn't horse around. We should make sure that we take the opportunities we have right now to prepare as best as we can. Well, we still have a little time. You might wake up tomorrow and find out that it's too late. And what then, guys? What then? That's what I got for you today. It is 90 degrees out here again, and my phone is getting hot, I'm sure. And I know what happened last time. My phone ended up shutting down in the middle of the video. So I'm going to cut it short here. Guys, just take it seriously, okay? I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm trying to prepare everyone. I'm hoping that at least a few people, a handful of people will share these messages, will take these messages seriously, whether it's from me or anyone else in the prepping community, or anybody else that is sounding the alarm, guys, I'm just hoping that some of you who maybe have not yet taken this seriously will step it up now and make the smart decision to prepare while you can, because if you don't and you suddenly realize you're in that situation of, oh man, I should have listened, you're not going into a panic and trying to rush the store last minute like a million other people are going to do. Get ahead of this situation that is building up, that is mounting and ready to explode. Guys, take the time right now and take care of yourselves and your family. Alright guys, Undercover Prepper is out.